Tic tac, tic tac, tic tac. Mbappe to Real Madrid confirmed. Grizz Khan in the mud. We go again. It's time for Khan. Good evening, everyone. Good evening. Welcome, LFC Daytrippers community. Welcome, any other football clubs community. It's a somber day for Liverpool fans as the dream is finally over. Mattise, stop laughing. The dream is finally over with near enough the confirmation that Mbappe is off to Real Madrid. But we go again, and we have an absolute mouth-watering game to look forward to on the weekend. And to help me go through it all, what a cast. First and foremost, the man's back. Mr. Avi himself from California, missed last week. Guess what? The intro we mashed up last week without you. You're back and you still mashed it up. But it's okay. It's okay. It's part and parcel of the fun. How you doing? How was your break?
Yeah, it was a good break. I was expecting some transfer news, but unfortunately, nothing. So, but no, it's I'm happy to be back on Thursday. I watched part of your show last week. I saw the intro again. But look, Conway done really well. A brilliant deputy. He was better than me, and yeah, good to be back.
Yeah. And so say all of us.
Yeah. So say all of you, and it's good to be joined by obviously Conor, my co-host, who will be sorting out our show afterwards for tomorrow. And you want to do the introduction to Mattise? Because I know he's your guy from Big Six and whatnot on Fridays.
Well, now everyone knows Mattise, me and Mattise. We're the real football guys on the Big Six, but that's why I had to bring him on. He's probably the only Chelsea fan that I can talk to for more than 5 minutes without wanting to go through the screen and smash up. Oh, and Conor, of course.
Yeah, I was going to say, don't forget, I'm sat right here, eh?
No. Of course, and Conor. But guys, Mattise, welcome, man. Nice one. Thanks for coming on again.
Absolute pleasure, man. Absolute pleasure. And I'm glad to see that, you can move swiftly past that Mbappe thing, and hopefully the chat don't get onto you and we move into the big game, because it's a massive, massive game. For me, it's two teams that I think are just so evenly matched. I think it's a proper clash, this one. I'm looking forward to it.
You're absolutely right. You're absolutely right. Even though it's game week 3, lads, I don't know how you feel, but I done a preview at lunchtime, and the feeling was that this seems so important and pivotal already, especially, and people underestimate sort of in terms of what this can do for a team's mentality. Obviously, the team that wins, obviously the team that loses, and if you draw, then yeah, it's as much of a muchness. But a win for either team really lays down a marker. Conor, I want to come to you first, and just give me your thoughts. How are you feeling going into this game? On the back of sort of beating us last season, but then, the duck and horse beat us last season at home. Do you know what I mean? It's everyone beat us last season. How do you feel going into this weekend's game? The crowd back, obviously your away crowd back, both teams seemingly at full strength. How are you feeling, bro?
I mean, in a word, I'd probably say optimistic. And it's difficult to say any reason why we wouldn't be. We're in an excellent position. We've had an excellent window, I think. I think our window has mainly been about fine-tuning the squad and getting rid of that excess sort of deadwood that we had knocking about. We've done that to some extent. We've definitely finished the sort of jigsaw by bringing in that focal point centre forward with Lukaku, and we saw what he could do last week. The squad is in a strong position, having won the Champions League over the summer and the Super Cup just recently. And I think that does more for the sort of mental state of the side more than anything else. They have that sort of invincibility factor. They feel like they can't be beaten. I know the Champions League, it's a cup competition, so it's a very different dynamic to a league situation. But yeah, I feel optimistic about the state of our squad. I feel optimistic about our form. But I mean, we're coming up against a pretty stern test in you guys, both of us in very similar form, excellent defensive records. So it'll be a really tight game, and that can't really be denied. But yeah, very excited and looking forward to it.
It's, you mentioned the word excitement, and it's true. It's even though I framed it, and a lot of people will say it's sort of pivotal and it's important, but it's excitement, Mattise, right? Are you excited as well as being, obviously the nerves are the nerves. There'll always be nerves in a big game, but do you sense a sense of excitement from a Chelsea point of view, like what you've done, what you've achieved last season, the signings, and then you're going into this season? Is it a sense of excitement more than fear or nervousness?
Yeah, it's got to be excitement for me because it's so early in the season as well. So it's one of those games where it's a massive clash, but it's an opportunity to, like you said, stake your marker and prove yourself. And we have a good record against big teams under Tuchel. Towards the back end of last season, we obviously managed to go to Anfield and get a win, which was a big win for us. City, we've had them wrapped up many a time now, like at the end of last season as well. So, and then you add Lukaku into it. I mean, that Lukaku versus Van Dijk clash already, that's mouth-watering. Do you know what I mean? That's two players in their prime, complete in their position, going up against each other, which is going to be brutal combat. And I'm looking forward to that as well. So I think both the teams are so evenly matched that you can only really be excited for this game because, like you said, it's an opportunity to just show what you can do. And whoever wins this match, they're going to feel like, the whole weight of the world is going to be off their shoulders because they're going to be, they're going to get that first little edge over the other title contenders. So I think the title and everything is just very, very evenly balanced between us two and Man City this season.
I just want to butt in here, Grizz. I just want to talk about Lukaku, Mattise. Obviously, the 2 years at Inter Milan, he's been phenomenal. I think it's done him the world of good. I think if it was a Lukaku who sort of had stayed on at the Premiership with United, I don't think he would fancy his chances against Van Dijk. I think now, because he's become a complete player, redefined himself, got himself in some really good shape in Italy under Conte and whatnot. And a similar style to what Chelsea sort of implement now under Tuchel. Do you think he'd fancy his chances, especially with Van Dijk coming in third game? Do you think he really fancies his chances? Because we saw what he did in the Milan derby this season. And here's one thing that I thought he always lacked was that little bit of arrogance. But we saw with Ibra, that little battle that they had, and he self-proclaimed himself as the king of Milan. I think he needed that in his game as well to go to that next level. And I think he's now ready to step up. I just wanted to get your thoughts on that, Mattise.
I must say he is extremely confident in himself. Like, this is a guy that thrives off of emotion. You see it, whether it's on social media, whether it's the relationship with Conte, the guy thrives off of emotion. He's a very emotional player and he is so confident right now. Every single time he's done an interview, something with the press, because it's been a busy week last week, press-wise, obviously being Chelsea's record signing, he's always spoken like a man that is very assured of what he's capable of and his own ability. And I think going to Italy is very much roughed around the edges of his game. You look at his hold-up play now. His first touch is very solid. He can run the channels in behind. He can win, headers. He almost scored a header there the weekend against Arsenal. And obviously his finishing has never really been in question. So when you have a track record like him, when you're in the peak physical condition like he is, and you're in your prime, you can only be coming in with that attitude. So that's why I say I see a lot of the chat, Matip and Van Dijk going to have him up. But like I said, be very, very aware of this guy because he's come here with a chip on his shoulder after all the slander Man United fans seem to give him. And he's not playing about this season at all. You can see it already.
And we've seen that again, Conor, haven't we? With De Bruyne going off to Wolfsburg, coming back to City, an ex-Chelsea player. We've seen it with Salah. Chelsea player didn't work out, went off to Fiorentina, then Roma, came back. Do you feel Lukaku's in that same boat as well? Like he's still got, like for me, what he did at West Brom, Everton, United, his goal scoring record wasn't great, but I just thought he still got the goals. And I think the Jose stuff was, he was made to look like a scapegoat at United, which was a bit unfair. But do you feel that he has that chip on his shoulder, considering that he has got a really good goal scoring record in the Premiership previously?
Yeah, and I think we have to bear in mind, these are professionals at the very apex of their game. Any kind of setbacks are going to push them on further. And that's going to be exacerbated in players that are so mentally driven like Lukaku, like De Bruyne, like Salah, these elite level players. You know, we've seen it with, you use De Bruyne as an example. I think it's clear to me that, I know he's an exceptional player in sort of every game, but against Chelsea, it seems like he elevates his game. You know, this guy bags goals against us consistently, puts in elite tier performances against us consistently, and you can't blame him for that. And I think the same thing has happened with Lukaku. You know, you can see it in the way he carries himself. As Mattise expressed, I think he's a very mentally driven player. He's driven on emotion. And I think that was partially the reason that he didn't do so well at United. He came into a dressing room that had Pogba in there, that had Ibrahimovic in there, you know, big characters. And maybe he didn't quite feel like he was ready to sort of, I don't know, grasp
He had a bit
that.
of chubby cheeks about him as well, didn't he? He looked fat.
Yeah.
He looked overweight. Let's not
yeah.
beat around the bush here. He looked overweight, didn't he?
Yeah, there were nutritional problems in there definitely, you know, and then there was the whole sort of social media ridicule. I mean, I remember seeing some sort of disaster compilations that were like garnering massive views of his first touch and that sort of thing, you know, and that sort of stuff is bound to have an effect on a player. But him going to Milan, being that sort of focal point, being the big character in the dressing room, I honestly feel like the reunion at Chelsea, where he's come back into the dressing room with lots of young players, where he can be that vocal leader, is really going to elevate his game and show us a completely different side to the Lukaku we saw at United.
Do you know what? You make a very good point about him in terms of him being the leader of the attack at Inter. And it wasn't the case at sort of Man United, as you said. There were sort of other players there that sort of, and he felt, you know, I don't know how he felt. Like we can only speculate. Sorry, how he felt, and it wasn't quite the move for him. You know, it was Jose, wasn't it, at the time in charge?
Yeah.
You know, there's two ways things can go with Jose, like proper tits up and proper. You know, you can become top of the world. There's no in between. And it seemed like the other way for Lukaku. But Mattise, he went away to Inter, and as you guys have alluded to, became the leader of the attack for Inter Milan under a manager who's pretty similar in terms of work ethic and style, would you say, to Jose? You know, again, but he evolved his game. What would you say are the differences in his game, the improvements he's made in his game that you see or you've noticed before compared to his time at United?
I think the two big things for me, obviously the physical condition, which we touched on, because he was overweight at United, massively. You know, he was not in good shape at all. But also that first touch is huge, because against Arsenal, we were fizzing balls into him. You know, in between the lines of the defense, between midfield and the defense, and he was holding the ball up, dropping deep, linking up play, just doing everything that you want a target man to do. Holding off defenders. We know he's got that little trick of his where he likes to spin a man and run in behind. But he was really good to play off. And that was something that was very important for me, because we know Lukaku can run in behind. He's done that at Everton. He did it at West Brom. He did it at times at United when he was maybe able to. He would be able to run in behind, get on his left foot and slot it in. But to actually hold up the ball, which is very important if you're going to play up front on your own, you need to be able to, you know, let the ball stick like glue. You need to be able to be a vacuum. And that's what he was against Arsenal. Now, to be fair, Arsenal have probably, you know, the perfect defensive lineup for him.
If you could handpick.
Great easy game, isn't it? First time.
Yeah. You know, Mari and Holding, it doesn't really get much better than that in terms of players that you can, you know, completely dominate. Now, coming up against Matip and Van Dijk is what I expect it to be. That's a different test. So that's why I'm so excited, because it's going to be a massive test for him. But also just a test for everyone. I think Liverpool, obviously, last time we played them at Anfield, we did win. But I've spoken about it many times before, the players that are missing. So it's going to be interesting to go up against a full strength, you know, popping Liverpool team. And the same for Chelsea now, off the back of a Super Cup win, 2 wins in the Premier League as well. Both teams got loads of confidence. And for me, as long as we are versatile with Lukaku, and we don't just try the same thing over and over again, which I think is key. If we see that Van Dijk has got him sorted in behind in terms of the runs, then we get some crosses into the box. If they're aerially cool, then we try and see if we can do some hold-up play. There's a lot of variety to his game, but also Van Dijk is quite a complete defender, so it's going to be a challenge for everyone.
I just wanted to. Sorry, go on, Conor.
No, I was going to say that's the question on everybody's lips, is that that duel between the two of them. And what's interesting is, who's going to come out on top? They're very, very well matched physically. the two of them, Van Dijk and Lukaku. So who do you two think that is going to come on the top?
Well,
There's only one.
I was
There's only
gonna-
one winner. Go on, Grizz.
I was gonna come to that battle, but I was gonna just quickly address Oliver's message to us, and he says the match result means nothing. This is media talk we are conditioned to repeat. Losing 3 points at this stage of the season is insignificant. City lost to Spurs. Are they out? Come on now. Avi, I want you to give your opinion on Oliver's opinion, who seems to think the result means nothing.
No, I disagree with that because you've got to lay down a marker. You've got to remember Chelsea came to Anfield, albeit a very weakened Liverpool team who didn't have any confidence, and you beat us 1-0 due to a Mason Mount goal. You've got to lay down the marker, Grizz, and you've got to remember, Thomas Tuchel, Jurgen Klopp, both Germans, both know each other very well, both had similar sort of journeys from Mainz to Dortmund, and then so on and so forth. So I think it is important. I think it's important that we sort of, there's this narrative that's going around the media, and especially after those pundits at a certain sort of corporation, I don't want to name them, had us finishing third, fourth, fifth even. I think we've got to shut a few people up. We work in silence, but I think if we beat everyone on Saturday, if we beat Chelsea on Saturday, confidence will be up. And I think a lot more people will start noticing, Liverpool aren't out of it. Only because we finished third last season, a depleted team that finished third, it was still a good achievement considering what the issues that we had. So if we come on Saturday at 5:30 and beat Chelsea, come full time, then, everyone will start watching and looking and saying, look, you know what, Liverpool are serious business again with the sort of same sort of set of players that we've got without sort of purchasing.
Absolutely. I think Chris sums it up. Look, it's good to lay down a marker early, but it's not season defining. And I think, we all agree that it's not defining. We didn't try to hype it up in terms of this is, the game that decides the fate of the title. But in my opinion, it definitely, lays down a marker. It definitely gives the team great confidence. Can you imagine, Conor, you guys going up to Anfield and getting a result? It just totally. And you know what? Do you guys see the similarities? Like Mattise, you guys talked about winning the Champions League, right? Looking to improve. You won the Super Cup like we did as well, right? So the confidence, the confidence of winning trophies is back, and it's running through your veins, and that's huge. Like
huge.
We felt that, right, Avi? Like on last season when we won the Champions
League. But it's
League,
never gone away from Chelsea, though. Sorry, came in. You won the Europa League, but Conte was there for. They've always Chelsea have a habit of whoever comes in, they seem to win trophies. Apart from Boas, I think Boas was the last one.
I don't think
but he only had half a season. The mental thing
Lampard,
is,
obviously.
in the entire Abramovich era, he's been with us for 2000-2003. So
since you started supporting, basically,
yeah. Come on, I was only born in '98, but I can't really defend that one because it's.
But true. Do you guys feel that vibe?
Like we do because I think we've never gone as I think was going to be said. We've never gone more than 2 years without a trophy, and the little blip that we did have, which was Lampard era, where we had 3 final defeats, and obviously Tuchel, one of them as well. The Super Cup final defeat, the FA Cup final defeat, and then the FA Cup again with Tuchel. It was starting to feel like, hold on a second, this is not us. We need to sort ourselves out here because this whole losing in finals nonsense. This is for Tottenham. This is for that level.
Levels, yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Seriously, like the winning mentality has got to be ingrained in a squad early. If you're to start pushing on for more trophies, otherwise, when they get to the final hurdle, they're going to start doubting themselves. So those European trophies that we picked up in the last few months have been huge for us, and I think that plus the signing and potential couple more signings that are on their way at the end of the window, that has given us the confidence to kick on from last season under Tuchel, and that's why going into this game we shouldn't really be fearful. Just need to be we need to be on our P's and Q's and understand that this is a different Liverpool. They're a fully fit Liverpool team with a chip on their shoulder who have been doubted and with a full house at Anfield as well, which we didn't get last year. So all those factors involved, that's why I think it's going to be just almost, difficult to even split them. I wouldn't be surprised if this was a draw. I'm sure we'll get to predictions later.
Do you know what the funny thing is, right? We've mentioned Van Dijk and Lukaku battle so much. I didn't even bring it up yet. You guys are so sharp off the mark. Like I wanted to have not a whole segment, but a part of the segment and talk about this battle because it's fucking huge. Like I'm trying to think, guys, and help me. Let's think out loud. I can't think of a personal one-to-one battle in recent times that's been so looked forward to. in terms of the hype, the levels. You know, Lukaku versus Virgil van Dijk. Every neutral fan is kind of looking into it, looking forward to it as well. As in, this is the litmus test for Lukaku,
Yeah.
and this is the test for Virgil van Dijk to see how far he's back in terms of being his back to his elite best. Conor, where do you think? I mean, is without doubt, I think this is the key defining battle. A and B. Can you think of another one-to-one rivalry in recent times? I can remember the Cristiano Ronaldo versus Ashley Cole. That was huge. That used to be
Kane and
huge.
Van Dijk as well. Kane, Champions League final.
But it was never touted as like a big thing, was it?
Nothing like this. I was thinking about this today. I know, Avi, you're trying to come back with something, but you have a few minutes to think about it and come back with a better example than Kane versus Van Dijk. I'll give you a couple of minutes. Go on mute if you want. You guys come back with something like a personal rivalry as big as that. Like you know, it's being built up.
But it's not personal between the two players. It's personal because the media have drummed it up.
I think, and
exactly what I said. Thanks.
One example that maybe wasn't built up verbally, but certainly when they were on the pitch together, you felt it, which was Fernando Torres and Vidic. I think that one was a very interesting matchup. There was always something there in terms of Fernando Torres having the edge over Vidic, you know, getting him sent off a few times, pacing behind as well. That one sticks out. Obviously, Drogba and whoever the Arsenal defender was as well is quite iconic for us.
But that wasn't fair, right? Like Drogba against Arsenal.
Van Nistelrooy and Martin Keown, they had a few battles themselves.
Yeah, but I mean that was more
battle.
to do with one event.
But you weren't even born then, so you can't comment. But yeah, Van Nistelrooy and Martin Keown, they had some dodgy clashes at Old Trafford, and then Highbury back then. Yeah.
No. I think. Go on, Conor. You was going to say. I think
it was the one at Old Trafford, wasn't it? You know, he jumped. He did all this in his face after the penalty.
Come back with another one, Avi. Another timeout, please. You've come out with two shit examples. So Conor's right. Even though he wasn't born, he knows that was a one-off incident in the game where he made a big faux about it.
A few comments. Vieira Keane was a brilliant battle between the two.
That's a classic, isn't it?
Yeah.
Vieira Keane was the, for me, growing up, I say. I was a married man with my first child back then, but you know, it was that was the biggest battle, right? Vieira Keane. I can't think of a bigger battle than that, personally.
Yeah, that one was mouthful because there was so much personal. Yeah,
and the Gerrard and Lampard one, it was a respectful rivalry, wasn't it? They just appreciate each other. Terry and Carragher, the battle sort of like centre backs during those Champions League sort of games.
No,
those
we're
were
talking about, again, we're talking about one-on-one battles, direct rivals. You're giving Conor,
and that's the thing.
Alonso Lampard. They had a few tussles, not just that once where Lampard did him on the ankle. There was a few. Some
good ones. Yeah, Schmeichel versus Wright, Keane versus Vieira, Ronaldo versus Dani Alves.
I don't think Ian Wright ever scored past Schmeichel in a competitive game. A few charity shields, I think, but never in a competitive game. Ian Wright.
Let's just address this super chat because there's some great comments I want to bring up as well. It says,
shall I read it? It's in dollars, so it's American. So Messi FC, thank you for the 4.99 super chat. Thank you. The difference is Chelsea improved their squad, and after the UEFA Champions League, when they got rid of Tammy and got Lukaku, while Liverpool still have Ox and Origi, Taki.
Taki added on the end for you, Abby, especially. I feel.
Yeah. Oh yeah, go and address that. If you really are. Like, there's
no, they have improved. I think how much did you get for Tammy in the end to Roma? 34 million, was it?
34 million, but it's paid in installments, so we're only receiving 5 million this year, and then it's like 20 million over the next couple, and then 10 the next.
And I want to come to this point, Marina Gatrasova. Have I said it right?
Oh my! I've told you 3 times.
You butchered that one.
Butchered her name. All right, sorry, but
she's over there today.
She's your equivalent to what we've got in Michael Edwards, right?
Well, kind of, but not quite the same. Is Edwards your chief negotiator as well? Or is he just to do with scouting?
He's our chief negotiator. He's the one who does the deals and stuff. So
I think
Marina's role is
a more sort of directorial role. She has a higher link with Abramovich. She's sort of his right hand man, woman. Excuse me, Marina, if you're watching. So she's not in charge of any scouting. She's just in charge of the negotiations, the financial negotiations, and that sort of thing.
But it seems as if it's working a treat, and fair play to her. The amount of money that you guys have recouped, let alone spent, but the money you guys have recouped in your players. It's been phenomenal business, very similar to what obviously Monchi at Seville does, or Michael Edwards. Like, you recoup money for players that are just never going to make that grade at Chelsea, and you make good money.
Sure.
Well, I was going to say, you used Monchi and everyone else closer to home. Michael Edwards. This is why we speak about Chelsea's business always being praised from my side anyway, because of the way they sell their players. They manage to sell their players. That's overlooked. Like, we talk about your academy and how many players you've sold for big money. Very similar to us, random players from academies for 15, 20 million. What's the one that you sold to Palace?
Mark Gurhey.
Mark Gurhey, for about 18 million.
Yeah.
Amazing. So
he's a good player though.
He's a good player, but the thing is, we have so much talent, and our squad is so full to the brim. There are obviously accusations of sort of player hoarding, and I've saw people today comparing it to sort of puppy farm for players, that sort of thing. But it's a successful business strategy, and it works. It makes us money. It keeps our books, in the green. So the players aren't, being held against their will at gunpoint saying sign this contract with Chelsea FC. They're willingly joining the club, and it's a successful business strategy that works for us.
We've spoken about the main battle that kind of the media is building up and everything. Like, for example, Chelsea's social media team knew exactly what they're doing when they put Lukaku as the face of the match build up. We done the same and put Virgil as the face of our. So it's brilliant. The undertone, is brilliant. But there's far more battles all over the pitch, right? We're looking for. Avi, what other interesting battles that you're looking for, in terms of player, in terms of positions? So I was thinking, the battle between the fullbacks will be amazing. Like, sort of which teams are fullbacks and their wingbacks get the upper hand in the game, because it's absolutely crucial as the way the both teams play.
Are we suggesting that Chelsea are going to be playing Alonso for this game?
No,
we'll come to the.
That's what I'm talking about. So, do you?
I don't think so. So Alonso's played the last couple of games, but obviously we've played against teams that we'd expected to dominate against. There was no real threat of runners in behind. Liverpool, your main strength is within your fullbacks. Creating overloads and creating chances from that, and then you've got pacey, direct, attacking, quick players in those wide inside forward roles who exploit the spaces in the channels. Someone like Alonso just does not have the recovery pace to get back. Chilwell is an up and down fullback, wingback, whatever you want to classify him as. He will, objectively, he's much better suited to nullify the effects of, he's on the left, so Salah, than someone like Marcus Alonso. And I'm sure Tuchel sees that.
Yeah, I would hope he does see that, because I think with Alonso, he tends to start seasons quite well. I remember under Sarri, he did a similar thing as well, and he got labelled the best left back in Europe. However, there is very important times with Alonso that you need to take him out of the team before he has a clanger, and this is one of those times. Because if he has Salah and Trent running at him with pace, causing issues, no matter how switched on he is, he doesn't have the pace, like was said, to deal with that. So this is the kind of game where you take Alonso out, and Chilwell is meant to be our first choice as well. And he came, obviously, he's been eased back in late because of maybe the England situation.
Alonso's one of those players, though. He must get a lot of flack from Chelsea fans, but he's been there since Conte, right? He's played 160 or 170 games. Yeah, pops up with a good goal here and there. So he's a player that, for me, that just perseveres, and I think he's a manager's player. A manager likes him, and I feel that maybe you can't trust him defensively, but in a wing-back system, he's like he's good going forward. He's got good technique, goes forward. I think that's why managers take to him, and I think under Sarri, under Conte, he's become sort of like not a favourable player, but a player that, he can be thrusted into it. Hence, I think he might start ahead of Chilwell. I don't fancy Chilwell in a wing-back system. I like him in a back four. Correct me if I'm wrong, Mattise. Is he better in a back four, or?
He's adjusted mid-season. I think he struggled immediately when the new formation was given to him. He'd never played it before, but as time's gone on, he's actually done very well. And obviously, he played throughout our Champions League run, locked up Mahrez in the final, and we didn't hear a word out of Mahrez for that game against Manchester City. So he has got a lot better in that role, and he did take over from Alonso and play most of the games towards the back end of the season. The thing is with Alonso is that when you're playing against teams that you're expected to win against, your Burnleys at home, your Newcastles, it's brilliant to have him on, because you're not going to be defending as much at the time. You kind of push him up into a left almost left forward role, let him hang around the box, make really good runs into the box, and then he can get, finishes in there, or you can get headers, or you can do cutbacks. But when you're playing a game like this, where it's going to be so finely poised and very small details defensively, positioning wise, and pace wise, I mean, if you guys hit us on transition with Alonso down that side, it's going to be a problem. We don't want to have Rudiger isolated. So I just can't see him playing.
Absolutely. Your left side will be crucial, and there's absolutely no chance that Chilwell doesn't start against us, in my opinion. No way. I think Avi's the only one who thinks Alonso is going to start. We'll see how it goes. But because as you targeted us last season in terms of that area of uncertainty with Trent and Nat Phillips, was it last season? Was it? I believe
it was a ball over the
Fabinho,
top.
I beg your pardon.
Werner,
it was actually Fabinho, wasn't it, who started at centre back last season? It was Fabinho and Kabak. So it was a central midfield, a DM, and our fifth choice centre back who started. And then you guys targeted that area between Fabinho and Trent because Trent was very low on confidence.
Yeah.
This time, I think that's going to be obviously Matip and a player who's full of confidence, who's absolutely flying at the moment, Trent. Yeah, take that comment off. We don't need comments like that.
It's actually quite funny.
Yeah, no, it's not funny at all. Yeah, so and if you've got sort of Alonso and Rudiger in that area where we're going to be targeting you now, in terms of Salah and Trent, which is our strength, I think I think that's a pivotal part of the game area that we could dominate. From our point of view, that's the area we're going to look to target. Where are you guys going to look to target now? Because obviously we've got our back four. Where's your strengths? Where you're going to look to dominate? How Chelsea under Tuchel been playing now in terms of, have they evolved from last season? Do you see a different or a variety of ways of attacking us?
I definitely do because of Lukaku. Yeah, I think Lukaku's changed the way that we attack, because before we didn't have a striker that was so versatile in terms of, yes, you can play passes into him and he can actually hold it up like Giroud, but alternatively you can hit him in behind as well. So that strength and that dominance that he has is taking attention away from others around him, and it's in turn giving more space to other players around him. Havertz was dropping deep and getting on the ball a lot against Arsenal. He was able to have this free role. That's not something that he really got last season because he had to play the false nine because Werner wasn't putting in the ball into the back of the net when he played up front as well. I think in terms of where to target, I think obviously Lukaku and Van Dijk is going to be down the right channel. That is where you'd expect Liverpool to match up their centre-back with where Lukaku is expected to play, which is cutting down that side. I think still we would be smart to target your right side of your defense. I want to see Matip and Trent. Just how good that connection is, that chemistry is. If it was Van Dijk playing on that right hand side, then maybe it would be a different situation. But I think Matip, you can still get at him a little bit. And I wouldn't be surprised if he played Werner again, because Werner had a great game at Anfield. Yeah, 100%. It will force you to either play take a few yards back and play a mid block, or if you keep the high line, then Werner versus Matip is going to be a constant race throughout the match. It's going to give you something to think about if Werner does start, because he had a great game last time. I think he had a goal disallowed for offside or something, but he
wrongly offside, wasn't it?
Yeah. So he caused a lot of problems.
Mattise talks about sort of Lukaku going to try to sort of put himself up against Matip and sort of maybe even doubling up with Werner and sort of just drifting to the left. Whereas naturally, we know Lukaku likes to take that inside right position a lot. That'll be intriguing, right, in terms of how he adjusts tactically. This will be a good test. I'm actually looking forward to it because, yes, when you see a weak, or when you see the weaker centre back or weaker side, like Robertson and Virgil van Dijk are impregnable, aren't they? You just don't fuck about with them on that side. No one. They intimidate you. That's how good they are, right? But you still think people always, even though I'm not going to say it, but I'm telling you, Matip, from my point of view, is the second best centre back in the Premier League when he's fit and he's ready. Yeah.
That's another debate.
Yeah, no, you're going to find out. But I'm saying people that don't see him enough will think like you're suggesting that we're still going to target Matip and Trent. It'll be interesting, isn't it? How Werner, and I think he will be selected, how Werner and Lukaku sort of drift to sides that they're not really used to. Well, Werner is, but Lukaku isn't.
Yeah, I think we start with the two personally. I think we start with the two up top, Lukaku and Werner, and I think we'll go with Lukaku, like you say, drift into those right-hand channels as he occupied so well at Inter, which means we will get to see that mouth-watering, pairing of Van Dijk up against Lukaku, Van Dijk being your left centre back. Those two will come up against each other multiple times throughout the game, so that's something we can look forward to definitely. I think where we're going to be most dangerous. I mean, effectively against the biggest teams, we are a transition-based attack.
Yeah.
And especially at Anfield, you'd expect you guys to have the impetus, so you guys to have the possession for the majority of the game. And it's about how you can sort of readjust your defensive solidity and get back to nullify our counter-attacks quickly, and whether you can do that. Tuchel's slowly but surely transforming us into one of the best transition-based sides in the league, maybe in the world. So, I think he's doing a good job on that regard. I think what will happen is we'll see Mount start inevitably, and I think he'll drop into a 3 in midfield in the defensive shape with Jorginho in the middle and Kante on the right. And then we'll be left with the 2 up top as that potential, transitional force. So for me, the danger areas, like you say, Grizz, are in between the full-backs and the centre-backs for both teams. Against Arsenal, for us, our wing-back to centre-back spacing was wrong. And they found a lot of joy in those areas. And I think you guys can do the same thing, obviously, with your inside forwards of Mane and Salah. So I think that's something that Tuchel will have noticed. There was way too much space in between those two players. And if the same thing happens against you guys, you will be much, much more ruthless. So, those are the two dangerous areas for me. For Liverpool, between full-back and centre-back, when we split our strikers and occupy those spaces. For Chelsea, between wing-back and centre-back for your inside forwards to come in and fill those.
Avi, how do we approach this game? Where's our strengths, and how have you seen us setting up this season? And then maybe come on and maybe then go on to sort of seeing any potential changes that you see in our lineup.
I think we'll change the midfield round, Grizz. I think the first game we saw Millie starting against Norwich, and then obviously Harvey Elliott, who got his start against Burnley. I don't think Elliott will start this game, and I think it will be a cagey affair. I can see maybe Fabinho, hopefully he comes back in that DM position with Hendo, and then maybe Thiago or Naby. Sorry, forget Thiago. I think Naby, Hendo, and it'll be Fabinho. The same 3, I believe, that started in the 2019 season when we beat them 2-0 at Anfield. So I think he'll go with that if they're fit. I think we need legs. I think it will be a cagey affair in the first 20-25 minutes. I think the first 20-25 minutes will be telling, and it will let us, it will sort of show us where the game's headed. If it's very cagey and there's very few and far between chances, I think it will be a draw. But if it's quite open, if Naby gets a bit of movement, if he can get a bit of the ball and he can proceed instead of Hendo, then we can see... we might see, an early goal. I think an early goal breaks this sort of game sort of stranglehold. It needs an early goal. And then, you'll see Chelsea come from the offense as well. I think Tuchel will set them up again, pragmatic, and let us sort of come on a little bit and then soak up the pressure and maybe hit us on the attack.
Is that predictable, Mattise? Do you think Tuchel's got any surprises for Liverpool, or do you think it's going to be the way he plays against all big clubs? We know, like Conor basically picked the team. I think it's pretty predictable, right? Or do you see any difference in the way he sets you guys up?
No, I think it is quite predictable what we're going to do, because we have settled in this formation. And one of the few times I'd say Chelsea can be very unpredictable is when they put a more attacking right wing back on the pitch, maybe in a Hudson-Odoi. And if things are not going well, we can change that formation to a back 4 and change our shape completely without a substitution. But I think he's definitely going to play Reece James on that side. I think Reece James was brilliant against Arsenal. Obviously got a goal and an assist. Really good deliverer of the ball as well. And he's got that balance between defence and attack, which you're going to need at Anfield. So with him playing, you have got, he's not a winger. So you've got someone who's not going to shift the formation at any given moment without a substitution, something that Klopp can keep an eye on. And that back 3 is going to be quite clear cut. I expect it to really be Azpilicueta, Rudiger, and Christensen. Maybe Thiago Silva comes in, but to throw him in against Liverpool when he hasn't really clocked up too many minutes yet would be a little bit of a dodgy situation, especially when Christensen has not done anything wrong as well. He's been brilliant for us. He had a great Euros as well. So he's more than capable of playing a game of this magnitude at this point. And Even Trevor Chalobah had a great game on his debut, great debut week, and we're chasing Jules Koundé. So it's very clear to me this season that Chelsea are going to play a back three for the majority of it as well.
Anything to add to that, or do you think? Oh, sorry, anything to change, Connor? Do you think it's going to be the same back three? We've pretty much guessed the whole team, or do you think any changes?
I mean, in a simple form, no, I don't think so. I think Christensen starts over Thiago Silva. The only question is Chilwell or Alonso. For me, it's Chilwell, and I think Tuchel will have the sort of tactical nous to pick him. And then, 3 in midfield, Kante, Jorginho, Mount, and then I feel we'll go 2 up top. And there is another question mark over Havertz or Werner. Lukaku's obviously a guaranteed starter. I think so too. I mean, yeah, but Havertz is lightning as well, to be fair, and they can both do a job at stretching defenses. I just think Werner provides that little bit more of a threat to actually stretch the defense and open you guys up a little bit more to create that space on the counter. But I'd be equally happy with either, to be fair.
From a Liverpool point of view, I there's no doubt for me. I just want to talk about this message from Michael. Michael Bowen says Kante and Mount has to be nullified for our success because Kante takes the ball off us at deadly times and they transition through Mount. Also, our problems with our midfield is winning second balls. I'm not too sure about the second part of the thing. I disagree. I think when we're on it, when we're fit and pressing, our second ball winning is deadly. It's probably as good as anyone in the league. But I absolutely agree with Kante and Mount. So the hype's all about Havertz, Werner, or Lukaku. That's going to be the danger. I think these two players, for me, Avi, are the danger men from a Liverpool point of view. I think you know what I think of Kante. We may come upon the award he's won recently, guys. He's won some award, hasn't he?
The midfielder of the year in the Champions League.
Finally, some recognition for the man.
And he's an absolute player of the tournament, did he?
Yeah,
he won UEFA Player of the Men's Player of the Year. That's including the Euros as well. That's why.
Yeah. But Avi, from your point of view, danger men for Chelsea. I mean, these two are for me, Kante and Mount.
Yeah, Kante, 100%. Mount, he's grown on me. I didn't think he would be. I saw him at Derby a little bit with Harry Wilson because they both went on loan during Lampard's tenure, and I thought he's a good player. I don't think he'll make the grade. But then after Lampard left, Tuchel believed in him, and you thought he might be the first that might be sort of cut from the Tuchel sort of era, but he's proved me wrong, and I'm certainly sure he's proved a lot wrong. His work rate, technically, he's a good player. He reads the game too, and he seems like a very smart, intellectual player on the pitch, and you just know that the instructions that Tuchel sort of sets out for him, he actually goes and follows through. So for me, he's a very smart player. For me, I do want to touch upon Christensen because he's a defender who I know was out on loan to Germany, and me and Conor have spoken highly of him in the past. But it seems as if, again, Tuchel's done wonders for him, and it seems as if he's Tuchel's main man right now in that defense, not Thiago Silva or Rudiger. I know Jules Koundé is possibly coming in, but I believe that the trust that Tuchel has put in Christensen, it's paying off as well. And again, another magnificent, back end of the 6 months plus the Euros. He's another one to watch out for because I think he's top draw, absolutely top draw. But yeah, Grizz, I can't argue Kante, Jorginho. He's had his fair share of critics, but he's another player who's impressed as well in the last 6 months. And he's a Tuchel player as well, a bit similar to the number 6 that he had at Dortmund, Julian Weigl. Just sits there and sprays those passes and tactically looks the game all around him. I think Jorginho is a perfect fit for him as well.
AJ says, thank you for the super chat. He says, I know it's a Chelsea-Liverpool preview, but Fabrizio confirming Ronaldo will leave 100%. City is the only destination. How are we feeling about this, lads?
It's an interesting one, isn't it? I mean, you'd assume that he's going to play centre forward, and this is a Kane replacement or Kane alternative since Kane made that statement last night saying I'm 100% staying at Spurs. Yeah. I mean, what a load of shite that was. You could tell that someone had a gun to his head when he wrote that one. But I think it'll probably be him at centre forward. He'll inevitably score goals because City create chances for fun, on those cutbacks. Crosses in from De Bruyne from that right side. Come on, that De Bruyne to Ronaldo link up is going to be a bit of a cheat code.
Do you know what it is? We can all relate. Yeah, that Man United hate. That Man United.
No, he's being loaned out. Mattise, he's being loaned out. He's being loaned out. Yeah.
Oh, I can't wait because I've already seen them spamming all over social media. Messi's the GOAT. You know, it's beautiful. I can't wait for that billboard in Manchester, that light blue billboard. Ronaldo's cut out on top, and it's the Tevez moment all over again, but it's the number 7, CR7. Who wears the number 7 at Man City? Is it Sterling? Yeah, he's got to give that. He's got to give that up. Give that shit up immediately. Listen, we love you, Sterling, but give that up. Let's get it done.
I wouldn't be surprised if Sterling kind of just jets from there. You know, he's not,
It said they've been pushing him around. They've been selling him to all of Europe for a couple of years. It seems like, if you believe the rumors. And I heard one today. Don't know if it's reliable or not. That they offered a Sterling Ronaldo swap, which is confusing to me, considering I'd see Sterling as much more valuable. I mean, he's only 26, is he? 26, yeah.
Yeah, but they also did sign Grealish, who's capable of playing on that left-hand side as well, isn't it? So it's just...
it says another welcome to Manchester billboard incoming.
Man, I can't... If this happens, I can't wait, because these Man United fans are going to be crying and they're going to be so loud, and I'm just going to enjoy it. I really am. I'm just going to enjoy it so much.
But it's turned this sort of Premier League season now into... This is so exciting kind of thing. Like, I know he's going to a rival of ours, right? So we've probably got mixed emotions, mixed feelings, but I think it's amazing for the league, right, guys? It's very exciting, isn't it? It's like, bring it on kind of thing, right? That's my attitude.
100%.
Of course. And it was like when Messi was moving,
A bit of you wanted him to come to Premier League, I
was going to say desperately. There's a little too much, but like you say, Grizz, a little bit of me wanted to see City pick up Messi just so I could see him, on a weekly basis. I could go to the Etihad, watch him in person, and see him tear out.
So you could start supporting Chelsea you could start making that swap to start supporting City.
That's it's an inevitable progression.
I think I tell you what, and we'll move on quickly, Grizz, but I think it's a sign of desperation from PSG and City that they want that Champions League, and it's a race between the Qataris and Sheikh Mansour from City of who wins that coveted Champions League first between them. I really think it's desperation that City are getting Ronaldo, just like, PSG got Messi, but I think City had to react, and he's the way they feel that, they can challenge for that Champions League, and let's see how it pans out.
But I think it's a flexing of muscles, guys, and egos. This is madness.
Yeah.
Like, this is financial fair play in the fucking mud.
Like, you get Messi, all right, fine, we'll go and get Ronaldo. And by the way, they're in the same Champions League group. So if this does happen, this is going to be an incredible clash. Imagine Neymar
it's being played
and Messi.
in Bahrain as well, those games, those 2
No
games.
way.
Being played in Bahrain.
No way.
I'm joking with you.
You're joking, he's joking.
Okay, he's done me. Okay.
Neymar and Messi versus, Ronaldo and, whoever you want to stick next to him as well. It's going to be incredible. Pep managing Ronaldo as well for the first time. Haven't seen that before.
I don't know how that's going to work out. I'm not going to
Messi and Ramos. Ramos is at PSG.
Yeah.
He's good friends with Ronaldo. It really is a freak window. It's a freak window. It's going to be incredible.
We touched upon the Champions League, and we'll talk about our respective groups and sort of other groups. But do you know what? I know it's often when we have like sort of opposition fans on and trying to do a combined 11 can get messy, and it's, pardon the fucking pun, tip of our tongues in it today. But I think we can make a fair crack of this. So between us, let's try and make a combination of Chelsea and Liverpool, right? But the key words are at full form and fitness, right? So goalkeeper wise, is there going to be an argument?
There's no debate. Carry on. Carry on.
Mendy's a brilliant keeper. We can't. Surely you guys, if you take away
Kepa
the
was more expensive as well, but it's Alisson. It
is Alisson.
Alisson is the how are you setting up though, formation wise?
That's the important question, because
that's the big question. Yeah, that's the big question.
Who plays? Because
4-3-3.
Why?
No, because it benefits you guys.
Just do the normal system 4-3-3. We can play with wing backs if you want. We can just go with 4-3-3.
Back in 2.
So Ricky
keep
Thomas.
it basic. 4-4 back in 2.
So I think let's go 4-4-2 because you guys play 5-3-2. We play 4-3-3. Let's be neutral and go 4-4-2.
Okay.
So in a 4-4-2, right? I'm going to start off with possibly controversial, but I hope not. Right back. Let's go.
Oh, not controversial for me. I will take all tribalism and biases out of it, and I will say comfortably for me, Trent is the best right back in the world.
Oh,
so
okay.
Wow.
I'm not saying that to get the people in the comments on my side. I genuinely believe it. I mean, He's a unique player, isn't he? I mean, I've never seen, barring Dani Alves, I've never seen a right back with his sort of roundedness in terms of skill set. I mean, I was watching the game against, it was your last game against
Burnley.
Yeah, Burnley. That assist
Phenomenal.
for the Mane goal. I mean, come on, you find the most seasoned playmaker, and they don't have the sort of intuition to just make that subtle clipped pass. Yeah, he's got a roundedness to his game. Defensively, I think he's underrated. You know, he doesn't really let too many people dribble past him. I think his sort of awareness can be questioned at times, whether he switches on or switches off a little bit too much.
22 though, isn't he?
You know, Reece James is a quality player, but I don't think he is currently on Trent's level. Whether he reaches that, who knows? But for me, right now, Trent is a dead cert.
Mattise, any arguments?
Even though he's been he's been voted out of it, he can still have a say.
Yeah, I think I mean, at England level, it's difficult to judge, isn't it? Because, you know, we know who's in charge. But I think if you're going with who's the better player defensively in a back four, I would trust Reece James a lot more than I would trust Trent, especially when I don't know who Trent's partner is going to be. I think if Trent's partner is a Van Dijk, someone that he knows he can trust defensively as well to help him out, then fair enough. But if you're going with, I'm going to take two fullbacks and pair them up with anyone, and it could be anyone, a Ben White, etc., then I know I'm going to trust Reece James more defensively than Trent paired up next to anyone. But Trent going forward, and even though Reece James, as we can see, and you're going to see a lot this season, Reece James getting a lot of assists, a lot more now that we have a proper striker, Trent going forward is ridiculous. You know, the pass that he played the other day in the cam position, you know, it was like moving like some sort of Ozil.
It was a little Iniesta.
Little reverse, yeah. So I'm happy to concede on it, but I definitely feel like Trent is more suited to, if you're going to go with just any given team, I would actually say Trent at wing back or something, just a bit further forward. I've even given him a case for centre mid. I just think he's so good in those attacking areas that he should actually be higher up the pitch than in a back four. But obviously in your system, then he gets further forward. But in most systems in a back four, in a 4-4-2 as well, you know, I don't know if we're talking about 4-4-2, I don't know if Trent's going to get as far forward as we're thinking here.
I think so. The next one's fairly simple. It's a question of who's playing next to Virgil van Dijk.
Mm-hmm.
Who's playing next to Virgil van Dijk? Out of the brilliant centre backs,
non-existent again. It's got to be either Gomez or Matip. But right now, Matip.
Oh, don't even mention go. I knew you'd come in with Matip.
Well, who are you going to mention? Rudiger.
Let's bring in Avi. He's been quiet for a while. But
who are you going to be? Thiago Silva.
Well,
right
I mean,
now, as of
take
now,
your pick, and they'd be better than Gomez. I take.
I did say we're assuming at full fitness and form, and for me, Thiago Silva has been the most underrated centre back of the last decade.
No, Grizz, he's got his plaudits. No, he has. Because he played in France, people don't see him as much because the French league's weak, but he's always had his fair share of plaudits. He has anyway.
He's the most. Yeah, okay, that's for you. But even
if we're going with a back four and we're going with who's at their best on any given day, then Thiago Silva is leaps and bounds better than Matip. And I know the chat loves Matip and everybody loves Matip, but Thiago Silva is another level. We're talking about a world-class defender here that got to the Champions League final the year before last, got to the Champions League final again. And the only reason why he wasn't in our team a lot towards the back end of last season, by the way, is because of injuries, not because he wasn't good enough. He very rarely put a foot wrong. The only 2 games he didn't play very well in was the West Brom ones. One of them, Jorginho actually did set him up for a red card with the loose passes that he was playing. And the other one, you know, it was very early in the season. He made a very poor mistake with a loose touch. But in terms of just defending, this guy is just unbelievable. And from a passing perspective as well, you put him next to Van Dijk and you're getting 2 of the best passes in the league, period. Not even just defender, you know, passes. We're just talking about 2 of the best passes. So Thiago Silva has got to be in that team for me.
I'm willing to accept that. Conor, any cases for anyone else?
No, I don't think
I'm not. But I will say, what I will say from a Matip point of view is João Matip is slept on way too.
Because he's injured
because he's injured a lot. That's why. It's because he's always injured.
I get that. But when the 12 games he plays on average a season, 12.5 on average, right? Because he played one half against Spurs, right? The 12 and a half games he plays, he's fucking immaculate. He's magnificent. But as I said, Silva is one of my favorites.
He's elite. He's elite. He was elite.
He's elite. So I think we've got Conor.
He still is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
for me, I mean.
Silva,
in a 3-back, this is why the formation was so important for me, because in a 3-back, in that left centre-back role, I mean, Rudiger's been on a different level since Tuchel came in. He's covered so much ground as well, making up for attacking wing-backs like Alonso. I mean, people have said it before, it must be a centre-back's nightmare to play with someone like Alonso. Can you imagine in a back four, you're playing with Alonso and he spends most of his time at the back post, and then they break on quick transition, and you just got 80 yards to defend.
It was like when we had Moreno. It's like when we had Moreno. That side centre back.
He's a legend. He's a legend now, Grizz. Please, after last summer in the Europa League, he's a legend.
We need to move on to left back. I think it's Robertson.
Yep, I can see.
Hands down.
Yeah. I do think. I mean, you mentioned earlier, Grizz. You said that sort of left-hand side of Robbo and Van Dijk is just impenetrable and no one dares go near it. I think Robbo can be got at. I think in the last sort of, I don't know, 6 months of the season, maybe there were times when he did look vulnerable.
The whole team did. The whole team looked vulnerable because of injuries, but come on.
Well, we got to move on.
Let's decide Robertson at left back.
Have you stopped arguing every point? Yeah, we've got to move on.
He said you were vulnerable. Of course I'm going to fight our corner. Go on.
Okay. But can you do it on your own show, please, on Fridays? Yeah.
Yeah, one for tomorrow.
Exactly. So I think we're all going to agree 2 out of the 3. So I think Fabinho and Kante go straight in. Is there any arguments or doubts about that?
So you're going with? Sorry, can you just say that again? Kante and Fabinho.
Fabinho and Kante for me are 2 definites out of the 3
in a 4-4-2.
Yes.
I'm going with Kante.
Oh, we're going 4-4-2, aren't we?
That's what we said.
Yeah, I feel like that's a little bit. I don't know. I don't know. Does it work?
Kante and Henderson for me, because we need a captain, and he sure is one hell of a captain.
You got Virgil van Dijk and Thiago Silva.
No, I don't like Virgil as captain. I don't like Virgil as captain.
Thiago Silva's probably one of the best captain in recent times for
and Jordan Henderson hasn't.
Well, yes.
I think
there you go then.
Yeah, but he has to get in the team first.
Jordan Henderson is, if he's fit, of course, he's in the team.
I mean, Jorginho's just won UEFA Men's Player of the Year, so I've got to put him in the hat. I'm afraid. I mean, he's literally just done what he's done with Italy. He's done what he's done with Chelsea, and he's very underrated. The amount of tackles and interceptions he actually wins is a lot. If you look at the statistics for Champions League, he's the most in tackles and interceptions. When you look at the statistics for Italy in the Euros as well, he's very high up there. So I've got to throw him in there. I have to.
I think he's very. If you have the right setup, setup for Jorginho, and Tuchel alluded to it in a press conference earlier in the week, and people were taking the quotes way out of context and things like this. But if you have the right setup for a player like Jorginho, he can massively improve your team. He's a metronome, isn't he? He gets the passes in, he sprays the passes out.
Guys, we're just talking about a 4-4 normal 4-4-2, old school British style of football. So Kante is 100%. I agree with Kante. Who's the next one? Grizz, take the deciding vote and please be kind.
It's Fabinho.
Conor says Fabinho, and so we agree with Fabinho because Avi's going to agree with Fabinho. I think if we don't have Conte in a combined Liverpool-Chelsea team,
no, he has to be in. Yeah,
it's mad. There's no point doing it. We done it all wrong. So on that basis, because we agree 3 out of the 4 agree on Fabinho, it's Fabinho and Conte. 2 wingers. Talk to me, boys.
For me, it's got.
In a 4-4-2, it's just not
it's
where...
difficult, exactly.
Yeah, it's not.
I think Salah.
Victor Moses on the right, if you want.
Honestly, let's break it down. We know up front is Lukaku and
Salah.
Or we
you playing Salah on the right on a 4-4-2. It's a very odd system. That's why
false, sort of centre forward.
Grizz only knows 4-4-2 from back in the day, but times have changed.
Yeah, but you have one. You got one playing higher up and one dropping deeper. You can't have just.
I'll put Salah as a sort of just behind Lukaku. Put Lukaku up top in a 4-4-2, but Salah just behind.
I think Salah is the most dangerous right attacker in world football, probably, and we're going to move his position.
True. Yeah, I'm happy with.
So Salah wide right.
Playing with advanced wingers like a 4-2-4, then we can stick Salah on the right wing.
That's what I'm saying.
Okay, yeah.
Salah 4-4-2, hideous. Yeah,
Salah,
okay, I agree.
4-4-2 in attack.
Yeah, you've been outvoted. You know how it works. Or you can put yourself.
I'm happy with that. Salah and Mane in the wings because I want. Yeah. I'm definitely taking the strikers for me. I'm putting my chips down for Lukaku and Kai up front.
And I'll back you.
What, Mattise?
Lukaku and Kai Havertz. Based on
Champions
what?
League final goal. Come on, Mattise.
I mean, Lukaku. Kai is ridiculously talented. If we're talking about players on top form, very few young players touch this guy when he's. But
he hasn't been top form for the last year, Mattise.
You saw in the Euros what he did. Even with Germany, he showed a few glimpses of what he's done. But we're not talking about a team based on form. We're talking about a team playing to the peak of his powers. And I'd say Kai is more technically gifted than Firmino and Jota. Even though I do love Jota a lot. I do love Jota a lot.
No, but technically more than Firmino is because when Firmino's on song,
Firmino is good as well. But the finish, I don't know with Firmino, the finishing sometimes it seems to be back maybe this season, but the finishing last season he just didn't come with enough goals.
I think basically, hold on, this Chris Brack's team, where is it? Is that the one he's picked basically for us? I think we agree.
He's already picked players like Frank Lampard and Zola and whatnot.
Is this our team? No, he's picked Hendo and Fabinho.
He's put Hendo in. He's playing the 4-3-3.
Yeah, I can just see everyone saying Avi's having a mare, and yeah.
What are you saying, Kai Havertz? How's Kai Havertz good enough right now on current form? He's not for Chelsea.
We
For Champions League final goal, but hey,
you didn't hear it. Again, you didn't listen. Yeah, again, you didn't.
This is why I hate these games. I hate these crossbreeds. Whatever you want to cross
crossbreeds. This is
what you want to call them.
Crossbreeds, he called them. This is why he hates these crossbreeds.
I'm surprised that people in the chat expect us to pick so many Liverpool players. We just won the Champions League. We're going to put some of our players forward.
Look, I'm not going to lie. I think it's very fair what we've done. We've done Robertson, Trent, Silva, Van Dijk, Kante, Fabinho, Salah, Mane, Lukaku. That one key position we have to agree on, because I think the rest we all agree.
Hey, let me throw my hat in the ring.
Connor, I'm going to go with you as the decider, because we will.
Grizz would have Tuchel as manager as well. That's how much of a blue he is.
Are you ready, Abby? Are you ready? The final spot.
Go on.
Timo Werner.
No.
Even I don't even agree with that.
Yeah, no, we're not having that. I think I think at their best, it's Bobby or Kai Havertz for me, especially with that formation, because we kind of have all runners. We've got Mane, we've got Salah running, we've got Lukaku as a focal point.
This is why
we've
I
got
gave Kai.
Intelligence. Now, Kai Havertz is magnificent
because he can drop deep.
He's young. He's got the potential to be sensational, world class. I don't think he's quite there yet, Mattise, even at his best. Bobby's proved to be pivotal in a Champions League winning team, in a Brazil team, in a league winning team, records breaking. At his best, I still think Kai Havertz has got the potential to be better than him. I will say it. Yeah, he has got the potential. But at their best, from what they've shown so far, I'd say Bobby. And as I'm the host, sit down. So Bobby gets that role. I'm sorry.
This is a dictatorship.
The big
guys.
dog.
Yeah, the big dog has spoken. Listen, guys, quick predictions for Sunday, because we're running out of time.
Saturday, 2-0 Liverpool.
Saturday, 2-0 Liverpool, yeah? Confident, yeah? Okay, cool. Mattise?
I'm going to go 2-1 Chelsea. I'm going to have to back Chelsea because obviously we're in great form. Of course, but this is a very evenly split game, so I've got to give us the edge.
Connor?
Yep, I'm also going to say Saturday, like Abby. Bold prediction there, mate. I will go 1-1. I'll say who's scoring? Mane and Timo Werner. 1-1.
Mane and Timo. Right, at this point, we're going to say goodbye to Mattise because he's got to run. He's got another stream.
I've got to go.
Mattise, you're a legend. We catch up real soon. Real pleasure having you on, bro.
Much appreciated, guys. Thanks so much.
Catch up in a bit.
Good, man.
In a bit.
Pleasure.
So, guys, a lot of talk about sort of in terms of the Champions League groups being made today. We're just going to quickly talk about the Champions League. Avi, our group, I know you were saying, it's fairly easy in your eyes. You like the
no, I didn't say that.
You like the classic.
I
classic. Go on.
I do like a tough group. I think it is the group of death. Look, I just love that AC Milan are back in it. They deserve to be. They're a Champions League club. They deserve to be in it. Atletico Madrid, I think there's, a little bit of history there in recent seasons. AC Milan, Porto as well. Every time we play Porto in a European competition, whether it's the UEFA Cup or the Champions League, I believe we're in the final of that competition that very same year. If Laura Duffy wants to correct me or not. So it's a great tie for us, Grizz. I do see us going through. I think it will actually be Liverpool and Milan that go through from this group, Grizz.
Wow.
Yeah. I think Simeone might come up short. Yeah, I think it will be us and Milan.
Okay. It's a bit of a turn up for the books. I didn't think you think Milan. I think Milan are a woeful team at the moment. Hopefully, this doesn't come back to bite me. Milan are an absolute shadow of themselves, even last season. If they're relying on
They were top of the league for the best part of the season. It was just until when Ibra got injured. No, I think they're a good team. Don't sleep on Pioli, their manager. He's a very good manager with attacking football.
Pioli has done a good job actually. And they've got some good talent in certain areas. I think their centre back partnership of Romagnoli
Anti-Rebic,
and Tomori.
good player.
Anti-Rebic is a good player. Theo Hernandez at left back is a good player. Franck Kessié is a good player. I mean, they've got sort of sprinklings of good players. Rafa Leao as well up top, another good player. And I like the look of him. You know.
Well, I mean, ahead of Atletico. Come on, guys. I mean, I think Avi just spoke with his hipster head on. Atletico were the standout team. We're talking about Madrid and Barcelona. Atletico won the title, and I'd say they're possibly even stronger with the signing of De Paul. Who else? They just signed
signing.
Yeah, Cunha. I'd say they're stronger. It looks like they're only letting Saul go. It's a big call if you guys think Milan. I just want to quickly read this out. Thank you, Mr. Dare I say Drift, with my mate Callum's picture on. Come on, you need to switch that up, man. You're better than this guy. Whoever you are, man. Putting my friend's picture up as your Avi, man. But he says the only Chelsea players getting into the combined 11 from Chelsea is the fake Silva, Kante, and Lukaku. Be honest, and I think the game will be 1-1. Fair enough. Your group, Conor. Talk us through your group. What do you think?
Firstly, I want to say I'm envious of your group. I mean, you got hard teams in terms of away days. I mean, come on, you guys got Porto.
Sweden ain't bad for you guys. Sweden ain't bad. It's a nice part of the world.
What is it? Porto, Milan, and
Madrid.
Yeah, come on. They are three of the best away days you can ask for.
That's a proper Champions League group, right?
Petersburg's a nice area in Russia. Malmo's a nice area of Sweden. And then you're going to Gasparini's at Atlanta.
He's talking about Champions League.
Malmo back in the 70s and 80s. They used to be in the European Cup. They used to grace that competition. Come on, let's have some respect. Come on.
It's 2021, my brother. Come on, Malmo in the 70s.
Yeah, he does these ones. You know, you'll get used to it. Actually, you won't. You won't get used to it. Trust me. But yeah, I mean,
what do you make of our group, Grizz?
I think it's a tough one, Avi. I genuinely did think it's a tough one, but I like that because this team, again and again and again, has proven to enjoy the big nights. The big nights are back, man. Like fucking hell, Champions League nights at Anfield packed. They'll be fucking shitting themselves more than us. All those teams that we've drawn will be thinking, fuck, why us? Why Liverpool? Like poor Porto, as you said, it seems like every season every season they've been on our route, we've reached a final, you said, or something?
Yeah, when we played Porto in whether it's the UEFA Cup in 2001 or Champions League 2018 and the year that we won it in Madrid, we played Porto along the way. So yeah, that's a good omen for us.
Yeah, look, as Ashley says, after last season, I'm just glad we're in the Champions League at all. I mean, who would have thought 12 games to go, we're even going to reach the Champions League? Not that, it was mental the way we done it. But, as I said, people, I want to ask you guys very quickly, because it's a tough one, favorites. I think it's so hard to.
It's open. I think it's open this year, and I think last year was open as well. I think this year it's open. I think the season before last, when Bayern won it, I think everyone knew that Bayern were the top team that season. I thought they were just built for the Champions League under Hansi Flick. I think this season again, similar to last season, it's open. I think it's an open format. Chelsea won it. Did we expect Chelsea to win it?
I was just going to say, when was the last time a favorite actually won the Champions League, like from the start? To the
Real, Real, and they're quadruple. Real won it 4 in a row.
I think Bayern were favourites.
They must have been the favourite for the third.
Yeah,
were Bayern the favourites when they won from the start?
Yeah, to be honest, they got rid of him, didn't they? Yeah,
from the start.
Yeah, under Flick, they wouldn't have been favourites at the start. He was still relatively unproven.
They'd got rid of him, and he came halfway season. Yeah,
I think it's a tough one.
It's open.
I think PSG have to be in the picture now.
Yep.
Man City have to be in the picture now, just on the basis of the signings they made, and then us and Chelsea.
Yeah.
Us two teams, we will be in the picture, right? Like it's it's a magnificent season to look forward to.
A
from an
PSG
exam level.
City final would be something. I know people hate the oil stuff and the money and whatnot, but that would be some final. Ronaldo at City, if that happens, Messi at PSG, Poch versus Pep in a final, especially after their Spurs and City semi-final sort of quarter-final game that they had previously in the Champions League. That would be some game, that final. There would be some game.
Well, I think the way the transfers happen and the way possibly more madness in the 5 days remaining, I think it's set us up for a proper season, man. We're back. Football's back. Crowds are back. Excitement levels are back. Big transfers are back. Do you remember we missed big transfers as well? It's an exciting season, and we're going to be here throughout the season to sort of talk about it and give our opinions about it. I can't fucking wait. Avi, is there anything else that you wanted to say or discuss?
Just three things quickly. Listen, I put a comment up there earlier on about Alonso. I didn't know that Marcos Alonso was involved in a car accident. I legitimately thought it was to do with Fernando Alonso in Formula One, so I apologize for that. Also, Andy Quinn, he's a Liverpool, he's on Twitter, but I think the end is near for him, so prayers and thoughts for him and his family. And also Sienna Steps, guys. Let's get Sienna to St. Louis, I believe, in America for a treatment where, you know, we should be there by November. That's the target. And LFC DT/Sienna. So please, let's push that forward. And Grizz, you've got a YouTube channel, I believe. So congratulations on that. Hope it's growing. Hope you unveil your videos soon. So we're looking forward to that, Grizz, and hoping to see what's in store for it.
Yeah, that should be good. Should be a bit of fun. I've got you on the technical side of things, so things can't go wrong, right?
Are you sure?
Don't know what I'm doing right now.
Well, you know, every day he tells me, "Leave it to me, I'll handle it. Leave it to me, I'll handle it." And you've seen the results, right, Connor? So I need to say any more. But I don't even know how he's going to close this. So I'm looking forward to Avi trying to close the show. Look, he's panicking now because he's realized he's got to close it, right? But Connor, I know you're back tomorrow with the Sports Unplugged, aren't you, with Avi? What you got lined up for us tomorrow? Or can't you say yet?
Yeah, I mean, we'll keep it confidential, keep the people intrigued, but I mean, there'll be our usual coverage of the Premier League fixtures and a little bit on the FPL as well. Some sort of gems in there, and we'll update the people on our current standings. We're having a little bit of a battle. We've got some Formula One to talk about as well. Belgian Grand Prix returning on the 29th on Sunday.
Yep.
Looking forward to that. It's been a nice break.
Cal from Cobbish will be joining us. We're going to be discussing some UFC topics, some two big topics that we want to talk about. Obviously, one which will involve Conor McGregor, and there's another one that we'll be talking about. So it'll be good. Tune in, guys, if you can. I know it's Friday night. Everyone wants to go out and party, but if you can tune in, that would be great. Chris?
Yep. So you know, if you'd kindly want to subscribe to my channel, it's Grizz Khan. Simply Grizz Khan. Go and give it a subscribe.
Oh, and your Insta page, your Instagram as well, isn't you?
Yeah, don't worry about that. Let's not go. You know, let's not. You know, what I mean, like relaxing it a little bit. But yeah, it should be a bit of fun. I think Cathal Robinson asked for transfer news. I'm afraid there's literally, from a Liverpool fan's point of view, there's absolutely nothing.
Saul? What about Saul? Anything to Saul Niguez?
No, since I said to you, there's been nothing after that. I haven't heard nothing. So it went all quiet after that. So that was about 3 weeks ago, I think it was, where I heard something. There's been developments. Since then, we've gone totally quiet on it. Now, unless they've confirmed it and agreed the deal behind closed doors, we'll find out. But I think it's gone totally quiet on that front. I genuinely think, unfortunately, the situation, as I understand it, is we're reliant on Origi going. If Origi goes, then I think we'll bring one in. Otherwise, I think Jurgen Klopp is very happy with his squad. Who are we to argue? Hey, as much as we'd like signings and whatnot, I think Jurgen Klopp is happy with his squad, unless, as I said, unless another attacker leaves. But listen, guys, it's been magnificent. We've gone way over time. But Liverpool and Chelsea, so much to talk about. It's been brilliant. Thank you, everyone, for viewing and listening. Don't forget to like and subscribe. This has been Khanage. Over and out.